Here goes. All right, welcome to another episode of 35 All Grip. Today's guest, Austin Pedroni.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here, Austin. Got a little intro. Here goes. Austin Pedroni, aka Boston Pepperoni, has been on quite a tear this year, traveling to Europe to compete and touching wheels on the premium mountain passes between events. Austin has lived on the West Coast for years now, where he's honed his skills on the famous California terrain. He's an absolutely wholesome fella, but don't let his charm fool you. Austin is an absolute animal on the open roads. So Austin, let's just start. What brings you to NC?
Roads, community, pretty much. NC's been the destination for the best skateboarding in the States. I feel like probably around 2014. That's when there was obviously NC videos before then, but that's when the skates giving stuff really kind of started gaining a lot of traction, and we just seeing these roads. It was I've never skated roads like NC has anywhere else.
Yeah, we're pretty lucky. We're pretty lucky here. You've certainly been getting it. What's your checklist been looking like out here?
So roads that I really want to skate here that I haven't skated yet is Jitterbug, Big Swiss. I think Jitterbug and Big Swiss are the two that I really want to skate that I haven't skated yet. But I got a lot of them this trip. Got Rocky, got Dump Truck, got LSD, Can, Toucan. I skated those before, but always good to have them again. Got a Iggy's Run, which is pretty elusive these days. Got a couple more that I don't like. Get Shitty, Sucky, Son of Sucky.
Dude, you're hitting them all.
Yeah. I mean, blessed to have locals to show me around, you know?
Well, I appreciate your tenacity. You are no, we're doing it. We're going to all the roads.
Well, it's just so funny to me. There's a lot of people who uproot their entire lives to move to North Carolina to go skateboard. And then they're nah, that runs 40 minutes from my house. Can't go. Sorry, I'm going to go skate Elk instead. And it's if that was every day, for sure, I understand I wouldn't want to be driving that far. But it's dude, you moved here to skate, to skate the best roads they got. And Elk's a good road. I'm not talking shit on Elk. I'm just saying you drive an extra 20, 30 minutes and there's legendary things and y'all just nah.
It's so easy to fall into a loop of you can just drive 15 minutes away and then go to the bar after.
Yeah.
But I'm happy that you came and you got me out for a pretty full day of skating.
Yeah.
About 10 days ago. I appreciated that because I've become one of those people a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Used to do a ton of traveling around them now. Yeah.
That's when we skated Jankum and Pop-Tart, right?
Correct.
Yeah, those were also both two of them that were on my list that I'm stoked to have skated.
Those are definitely list worthy. Yeah, we're happy to have you out here though.
Yeah.
So, kind of wanted to just get into your upbringing, the early days of Austin.
Yep.
You're from Pennsylvania.
Yep.
Correct?
Yep. Philadelphia suburbs.
Right on. How was Philadelphia growing up? How'd you get into longboarding?
So I lived probably 30, 45 minutes outside of Philadelphia. And in high school, one of my good friends, Tom Mentzer, just had a Sector 9 pintail longboard. We all skated street stuff, but couldn't kickflip or anything. So this classic story. And he had a pintail cruiser, and I rode around a couple times. Whoa, this is way I'm not doing tricks on my skateboard because I'm not good. And so just cruising around on this is a way more pleasurable experience. So then I ended up getting a Santa Cruz longboard complete.
Cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Did it have RKPs on it?
No, it had TKPs and a kicktail.
Okay.
It was like it was spray on grip. It was like tiger stripe themed kind of thing.
Very cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I thought it was still at my dad's house, but I just went there and I didn't see it. So,
what age were you like kind of getting into it?
so that was my senior year, I think, of high school. I think I bought that.
Okay.
So 18. And then I was just like cruising around my neighborhood with like my friend Tom and a couple other people. Like there's a couple like hills we would bomb and just get speed wobbles and like eat shit. And then that was around the same time I was like also like going on Reddit instead of doing my homework. And I was like, there's like a Reddit for everything. Like, what's up? Is there like a longboarding Reddit? Like, not knowing what downhill was, like find the longboarding subreddit and see a picture of a guy doing a layback slide, not a Coleman slide, like a soft wheel layback slide, like fully like.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, gotta do that. So I just like would like be on the longboarding like subreddit and then like watched like how to slide tutorials and stuff, and like quickly learned that like my setup wasn't like ideal for sliding. So I don't think I even tried on like my Santa Cruz board, but everybody on Reddit was like, the best boards and like the best bang for your buck is like these like Churchill longboards. Remember Churchill?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were just like complete, like all like Churchill like wheels, trucks, boards. Like you got a complete for like $120. And so I bought like a double drop. I think it was like a Churchill Peaches with 86A wheels and Churchill branded trucks. Because they like you could also upgrade them for like $20 more to like Randall's or Paris's or something. But like I didn't know anything, so I was like reading their site and like, you know, like trucks are trucks. All they do is turn. Like, why not get the cheaper ones?
Like $20? No.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, makes sense. Like trucks are trucks. All they do is turn. Like, got the cheaper ones. Awful setup, like so bad. But I would like take it outside of where the house I grew up on. There's like a hill that's like 1.5% grade, you know, like you would stand at the top, you could roll to the bottom, and then like you wouldn't even be going running speed, but it was a hill. So I would like kick in as hard as I could, like no helmet, gloves that I stole from Zoomies, and then just like try to like rip a slide, and would just like got a couple like stink bug 180 hands down, and was like, dude, I'm doing it. Like,
come on.
Yeah, like this is it. And that was August of 2012. And then in September, I went to college in Ithaca, New York. And like on my very first day, like parents drove me up there, like whatever, like drop me off. They go home, and like my roommate is like, yo, like I know this like house party tonight, like let's go. And like just like a shitty like on college like campus apartment kind of thing. And so I rock up, and there's some guy there, Jared Monticelli, who has the Freeline skates. You remember seeing those?
Are those they have one wheel? Or
it was two wheels. It was like little platforms like this big.
Okay.
And then there was like two wheels on each of them. It would just be like, it was kind of like ripsticking, but there was like, it wasn't connected. You know what I mean? You would kind of like pump to go.
I've seen these.
Yeah. And there's like one kid in the world who like did downhill. And so he was there outside the party, just like trying to show off. And I was like, oh, like wheeled thing, you're going down a hill, like what's up with that? And I like tried a couple times. I'm like, nah, man, like, sorry, I'm a longboarder. And he's like, oh, like downhill? I was like, yeah, like I do slides. And then
That's stink bugs.
Yeah. And then he was like, oh, my roommate does that. He's like inside. And I was like, all right, cool. Like, what's up with your roommate? So he goes, introduce me to his roommate, Dan Snyder. And like literally day one of college, like, and this dude like actually skated downhill, like could actually slide both ways, like had gone 50 miles an hour kind of thing. And like met him my very first day at college, and he was like, yeah, like you're like trying to longboard, like let's go. And he like took me out to a couple of hills and like taught me most of the stuff I know at this point. Like he's like fully credited to like why I'm into downhill in the way I am. And like he lives in San Diego now. He surfs a bunch. We like still hang out every now and then. We went on a backpacking trip like this summer. It's cool.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Ithaca has some roads.
There's some really good roads. I mean, like Comet was based out of there. Like Anthony Fliss been on the podcast. He like lived in Ithaca for a couple years. Like Jeff Chappell was like doing race circuit stuff in like North America for a little bit. Like he came out of there. Ed Kiefer,
yeah,
which I think he was junior world champ at one point. Yeah, he for sure was junior world champ at one point. Like he came out of Ithaca. Max Heaton spent some time in Ithaca.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to remember the roads out there, like Lake Road or something.
East Lake.
Yeah,
these are actual road name spots. Type them into Google, you'll get some good roads. East Lake, it was like a right kink into a left hairpin, and then like fast into a right hairpin, like neighborhood style, but like 2 or 3 necessary slides. And like at the time, we would do like a million slides because it was actually pretty quick.
Yeah.
There was like Bostwick, which you could go 60 miles an hour in traffic. So that was pretty cool. And like at the biggest drop, there was it was like a commuter road. So we would like take it to go over the hill out of Ithaca. And then at the like at the bottom of the biggest drop, there's just like a road that would connect that like people would turn left up the hill. And you just like go down, you like come around the bend, hit the drop, and you just like see it. And you're just like, I hope no one's there. And like at that point, like if we were going, like we wouldn't be going 60 like Jeff or Anthony would be. We'd be going like high 40s or something. Couldn't stop, like, you know, because the road has a run out at the end. Like
those are like some humble beginnings.
Yeah,
you're like, I'll just run it out.
Yeah.
There's no plan really at all.
Yeah. And then there's a couple roads that were like that was like probably above our skill level for a while that we skated, but there was a couple roads that like we actually just wouldn't go skate because they were like, yeah, I don't know,
danger zone.
Yeah.
I guess I'm skipping a little bit ahead, but speaking of Ed Kiefer, I checked out an Ed Kiefer video. Did you edit a video?
Oh, yeah. So
Ed Kiefer and Opaque?
Yeah.
Called or something?
Yeah, so that was my senior thesis.
Whoa.
Yeah, video is not very good.
Like, I thought it was sick.
Thank you. It was like a little too long, and like I could have done it a lot better, but like, so I almost dropped out. That was like my senior thesis project. I went to school, majored in television and radio production with a concentration in media production, whatever that means. But like my senior year, I was like pretty checked out. Like I almost dropped out sophomore year because like I wanted to go in the film industry, and you don't really need a degree for what I wanted to do. And like one of our professors just kind of like told me that. And like I never ended up dropping out, which I'm like glad I didn't, but like I was like pretty checked out, and at that point I was just like trying to skate as much as I could. And so I was like, well, like I gotta make some like senior thesis film. Like people spend like tens of thousands of dollars like their entire semester, and I was like, I'm just gonna make a skate video. And like did not make like a particularly like impactful skate video or anything like that. Like there's some good shots in it, but it didn't like nobody, like, you know what I mean, like no one, it was nothing.
What's the road that it's like towards the very end, Ed like smashes like a really fast left slide, like slides left. Slides
right?
He was like sliding left, and there's like a truck coming up.
Oh, that's Sand Hill. Okay. So that road used to be like awful pavement.
Okay.
And then there's like that, there's like a series, there's like you drop in, and then it's like a right turn, left turn, kind of like a right, and then it like goes down. And like that corner sequence is actually like one of the sickest corner sequences like I've kind of skated, and like I don't know, it's like really good corners.
It looked really fast in the video.
Yeah, it was really fast. Like the like apparently like one time like Max Whipperman came to Ithaca to skate with Ed, and like it was like, oh, like pro skater Max Whipperman hit 60 on this hill kind of thing.
There's some lore to it.
Yeah.
No kidding.
But so they actually like that like corner set at the top, the right left, they regraded that, and so like that corner section was closed for a while, and they like fully like repaved the whole thing, but also like cut into the mountain a different way, and so we would like go like hike that and stuff. But then like my senior year, or maybe like end of my sophomore year, they opened it back up like full traffic, so we would skate that sometimes.
Super rad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring that up. I was like, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, but like example of how mid that video is, like there's like a raw run of Ed skating that, and then we like got some corner shots, and we got them on a different day. And I remember Ed being like, "Hey, you want me to like wear the same clothes?" And I was like, "Nah, it doesn't matter." And like there's like raw run, he's like in like, I don't know, like some brown t-shirt or something, and like cut to the corner shot, and he's just like in like completely different clothes. And it's like shit like that. It's like I really phoned it in for my senior thesis.
They count it.
Yeah.
What about the Ithaca like skate jam?
Ithaca slide jam.
Yeah, the slide jam. I mean, you were hitting those up?
Yeah, it was really cool. So the first one happened in fall or spring of 2012, which I wasn't there yet. So I went to the second one, and then the rest that happened as long as I was there. And that was really cool. Like probably my first like real skate event I went to. And like a bunch of like pros would come into town, you know, and like, cause it was like slide jams were like, dude, 2013 slide jams were like cream of the crop. Like
that was peak.
Yeah, it was peak slide jam. So like, and this wasn't like some like little slide jam. Like this was thrown by like Comet skateboards. So like all the Comet pros would come into town, and then like a bunch of other teams would like send their riders and stuff. And then Jeff Chappell would throw like an outlaw like the day before, the day after, and so we would go to that and like help him like watch a corner or something like that, and like watch like all these like pro dudes race and stuff, and like met a bunch of cool people there. Like met Ryan Ricker there, and like me and Ryan are still like homies. Remember seeing Bruno there, which like, remember that dude skated for Bustin? Yeah, he was like, dude, at the time he was like the best skater.
Yeah, like mythical.
Yeah, fooling. Like I remember like that was probably the 2014 slide jam. He was there. It was on like a different hill. It had turns, and it was like raining, and he was just bombing into this turn that everybody would slide, and just like taking 1 foot off his board in the rain and just like gripping the corner. And it was like, yeah.
Dude, Ithaca used to be like on the map. Like,
yeah.
That was like a bit like, I mean, that hasn't happened in a long ass time now,
no,
right?
I mean, Comet's not based out of there anymore. So there's like, I know there's like one skater that I know of that lives in Ithaca, and then there's another skater who lives in Syracuse that's like 45 minutes away. But I saw them like posting clips on Instagram, so I like DM'd them all hyped and like gave them a bunch of spots and stuff.
Go skate these.
Yeah. If you need spots in Ithaca, hit me up. I'll DM you all the spots.
Amazing. Yeah. We're here to just blurt out road names too. So if you listen to 35, you might find a new road.
Yeah.
You know. Well,
Chimney Laurel Drive.
Write that one down. All right. Well, you were talking about you did your thesis with the Ed Kiefer video in Ithaca. What was kind of your mindset after graduating? Like, because you eventually moved out west, correct?
Yeah, so I actually moved out west before I graduated. You could do like a semester abroad.
Okay.
But because I was in like the film program, you could do a semester abroad in Los Angeles because it's like the place to be. And so Dan Snyder did that in 2014. And so I went to visit him when he stayed there, and like we like skated Tuna and like skated a bunch of stuff. It's like California, and like California's so sick. Like it's got these like amazing hills. It's summer every day. There's like also the film industry. So like after that trip, I was like probably just gonna move to California because like it had amazing skateboarding and amazing like potential work for me. So in like spring semester 2016, my like last semester in school, I like moved out there and like finished school up there, and like phoned it in even harder than I did on my senior thesis.
Oh, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, like we were supposed to do an internship like 3 days a week and then have 2 days of classes. I was doing an internship 2 days a week, lying about my numbers for the third for like my hourly reporting, and then scheduled both my classes to happen on the same day, so that like I had just like 2 days a week free when I was supposed to have 0 days a week free. And so like we just go skate all the time. And like when I moved there, I had met Rachel Bagels when I like visited in 2014, And so I hit her up and was like, yo, like I'm moved back out here, like gonna be trying to skate all the time. And like she like I owe her Rachel like so much. Like she would like take me out. She would like give me all this like gear and stuff because we lived like pretty close to each other. So I would drive to her house and then we would take her car and then we just like drive out to the hills and just go skate like every day. Not every day, but like go skate like a couple times a week. And like that's when she was getting like hooked up fat by hogs. And like I had just moved there and like wasn't very good, but like killing wheels like I had never before. And she would just giving me all this gear, like new wheels, like pucks, like everything, and like taking me to all the spots, like showing me stuff, like taught me a lot. Cause like when I moved to Malibu, I couldn't really slide right very well. And like she like helped me like figure that kind of shit out. And like, yeah, like huge shout out Rachel. Like I owe her a lot.
Shout out Rachel.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's yeah, you said like early 2016 because I came out there. Actually, the only time I came out there was like probably like March or April of 2016. I think like March 2016 I came out.
Okay.
And I hit up Rachel too. She definitely helped me out, like linked me up with people, and we hit a ton of tuna laps. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
like yeah, going down tuna for the first time, I was like, oh, this is why everyone's so fucking good.
Oh yeah. It's a very difficult road to skate. Yeah. Not easy.
Speaking of tuna, I actually have a guest question.
Yeah.
Coming in from Benny D. Here goes.
What's up, 35 All Grit? Benny D here, and I got two questions while you got my sweet baby boy Boston Pepperoni in the studio there. First is Austin, you were a mainstay of Skate Mansion, formerly known as Skate House, formerly known as Skate Apartment. And that involves spending a bunch of time out in the Malibu proving grounds, watching a bunch of the world's best skaters come through, and just a shitload of time out in the canyons. And I want to know your top 3 tuna memories that come to mind. Could just be watching absolutely god-tier skateboarding going down, witnessing some heinous shit out in the canyons, whatever works. Top 3 tuna memories. Second, who is the Alex Honnold of downhill skateboarding, and why is it Austin Pedroni? Later, y'all.
So, what you got?
All right. All right. So Ben's taking a dig at me for that second question. So at one point, my like ex-girlfriend who I was like living with in San Francisco was like, this is just for context of the second question. She was like, oh, like, can you like my friend's like whatever, like trying to like learn how to skateboard. Like he wants to buy like a Comet Cruiser, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh yeah, it's like sick. Like cool. She's like, would you be down to like teach him how to skate? And I was like, no, like it sounds not fun. Like, I don't know. Like at this point,
I feel you.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. You like I don't even know if this dude could like roll from point A to point B. You know what I mean? I didn't want to go, like, I didn't know this dude, didn't really want to go help him skate. And then she kind of like gave me some pushback on that. And we were doing a lot of climbing at the time. And I was like, he could like learn to skate from like literally anybody who can like ride a skateboard. Like we can't even go to a hill yet. Like it's going to be like, I'm not going to have any fun. And she like didn't get it. And I was like trying to think of like trying to like put it into context for her. And like we were probably about to go climbing or something like that. So like climbing was on the mind. I was like trying to think of like anything. And I was like, well, you wouldn't ask like Alex Honnold to go teach you how to rock climb. You know what I mean? And she's like, oh, you're calling yourself the Alex Honnold of downhill skateboarding? I was like, no, not at all. But like, I like trying to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And then like, we like hung out with Ben like shortly after that. She's like, dude, Ben, guess what Austin said? I don't know exactly how it went, but so.
Hilarious. I was wondering where that was going to go.
Yeah. So Surprisingly, like she stopped giving me shit about it, but Ben still, yeah. I don't know. Ben also tries to claim he's the fastest skater on the East Coast, but I think, yeah, according to 35 All Grip, that's Jack Trainer's title.
Whoa.
So that's maybe like future beef to be squashed.
Yeah, I mean, you have to ego claim it in a big way. I mean, I think that's how you be the fastest skater on the East Coast. You gotta do something big.
Yeah. So I don't know. Let Ben and Jack beef that one out.
What about the first part? Top 3 tuna
memories.
Tuna memories.
That's tough. I remember there was one session where so my girlfriend at the time was living in San Francisco, but I was still living in LA. I went up to visit her for like 2 weeks in San Francisco. And then like that like weekend in between when I was up there, like Ben, like I think it was like Ben, probably Chubbs. No, maybe Chubbs wasn't there. I don't know. I think it was like Ben, Sean Wilkinson, and like Kai Salam. Like Kai was in town. Like, oh, we're gonna go down to LA to like skate tuna this weekend. And I was like, fuck, I gotta go. So I was like, sorry, babe. Like going back to LA for this weekend. So I like hitched a ride with them, like back to LA. We like skated tuna for the weekend and like came right back. But like that session, I'm pretty sure that session was like all time. Like we were just like Caleb Grant was there and like probably a bunch of other locals. But like I remember we were just like skating like within inches of each other, like every single run. And like everything, like we all landed bolts, you know what I mean? But it was like, yeah, just like it was just like a very switched on session. That was a really good one. Honestly, probably skating tuna with Max Dubler, Justin Rollo, and Zach Madum, which was like the first time I met Justin and Zach, who are like now like close friends of mine. But like growing up, we always watched we would cycle through a couple videos, and like one of the ones that was always on was Justin Rollo's Tuna Run.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, to the Kesha remix.
Is that where he goes off in the start of the close straight?
Yeah. Like we would watch that all the time, and like that was like one of the sickest videos.
Oh yeah.
And so like I remember like me and Max were like tight, and he was in like some like posting some group chat like, oh, or like maybe Max did like, oh, like go and skate like tuna with like Justin and Zach today if anybody wants to come. And I was like, yeah, like I'm there. And so like met like Justin and Zach and like skated tuna with them, and I remember that was like pretty memorable.
Sounds epic.
Yeah. I remember like for like one of the first things I said to Justin was like, yeah, like your tuna video made me crash so many times, because I would try to follow his lines and then just eat shit. And like now, like looking back, like I like Justin's video was probably pretty good at the time, but there was definitely like faster or better videos, but like we just loved that one. But I remember saying that to Justin, like your video made me crash so many times, and he loved it. Like very into that.
That's incredible. You got another memory? Got a number 3?
Probably just like taking a bunch of runs with Seth. There was a while where like I wasn't working any sort of like regular job, and Seth had a lot of like odd days off where like there's a lot of people like would only skate Saturday and Sunday, but like skating during the week in Malibu was way better because there wouldn't be people hiking and like all this stuff. And so like me and Seth would just go and just like smoke tuna lap after tuna lap. And like I don't know if that's like one specific memory rather than like a period in time, but
hey, count it.
Yeah.
I don't blame you. If I lived in LA, I would be at tuna every day.
Oh yeah.
Like I've heard, I mean, it's one way downhill. I heard is tuna one way uphill now?
Yeah. So it's a fire. So the reason they kept tuna on the can, so it used to be 2-way, and then the reason they kept, and so like during some like I don't know if it was like a wildfire, like mudslide or rainstorm, like part of the road fell away, and that's like also, and then at some point they like repaved it with slurry seal and stuff, but they kept it open as a way in case the canyon's on fire for people to get like out of the canyon, rather than like going down Fernwood and then going down Topanga Canyon. Like it was like another exit point. But recently, because they've been more concerned with fires, they switched it to one way uphill so that fire trucks could get up there in case of a fire. Because like I don't know, like if there's like now like more exit routes, or like if like technology has changed, I think they'd be like better bet to like fight the fire or something like that. But yeah, they actually switched it so fire trucks can get up. So like not only is there like regular uphill traffic now, it's like also more chance of seeing a fire truck.
So it's not a joke.
No.
That's legit.
Yeah.
That sucks ass.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm glad I got it when I did, and like just happened to move out, and like a couple years later they like changed it, and so I'm like sad that I never got like a last session, but yeah.
I thought that was just a joke.
No, I mean like there hasn't really been much media coming out of Tuna recently, and like a lot of the stuff that has like seems like kind of like old, and like I like hear about people like stealing a run every now and then, you know, like going at the top, having the car drive around, and then like waiting for the car to like pretend to like break down or just like block traffic, or just like, or like even just like skating down with the car at the bottom and then being like, all right, like 2 blue cars went up the hill, and then you like stop and you wait for 2 blue cars to pass, and then you like keep skating. So like it's still possible to skate, but
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Whew. All right. Well, we're going to switch gears a little bit.
Yeah.
We're going to get back to LA in a sec, but
Yeah.
got a segment. It's road trivia.
Road trivia.
I'm going to I got a little bit of trivia for you here. I'm going to see if you can guess the road. So here goes.
Well, all right. So before it's always been NC roads. This like still, or you said this was some sort of like other.
This is a little bit different format.
Okay.
I might give you a clue if you need it.
Okay.
But yeah, here goes. It's also Venom themed too.
Okay.
So on Venom's page, there is a video titled Jacko Thug Life, where Jacko pushes K-Rhymes off his line into the bales. What road are they on?
Oh, Catalina.
Correct.
On the bottom right corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Okay. I got another one. This is for the listeners. Just comment on YouTube or Instagram if you know. There's a Throwback Thursdays video of Justin Rolo breaking Zach Madum's ribs. What road are they skating? All right. Comment if you know. Thanks for playing.
I don't actually know that one.
I'm sure someone will get it pretty easily.
Yeah.
Back to LA. So you moved there post college, or I guess towards the end of your college.
Yeah.
When did you kind of filter into was it the skate mansion?
No, so it was still skate house at that point.
That was skate house.
Like with the mini ramp and like the like classic skate house. So when I was there in college, I like was put in like mandatory student housing that was like so expensive and so shitty. And then I like graduated in like May or June, and instead of going home for graduation, I went to Britannia, Danger Bay, and Jake's Rash, which my mom was very disappointed in me that I didn't go to my college graduation, that she paid a lot of money for me to get a degree.
I'm just going to say, before we continue, I went to Pagoda to skip my college graduation. So I think you made a good call.
Yeah, we should talk about Pagoda. I was there. That was like the hill I skated all the time. That was like the best hill within an hour drive of my house. But yeah, that's a tough one.
So sorry to cut you off there. I just wanted to say you made a good decision.
Did you drive from Michigan?
Absolutely.
How far was that?
14 hours
for
probably?
for a 1 day event.
Yep.
Hell yeah. How'd you do?
One and done.
Incredible. Dude, so I went to Pagoda. It was during the college semester, so I was still at Ithaca. Me and Jeff Chappell drove out and like stayed at Fat Dean's house on the way out there. I won, so they had beginners, like expert, and then like pro class. Mm-hmm. I won the beginner class.
Let's fucking go.
Yeah, it was like my first race, and like I'd never been to a race before, didn't really know what to expect. There was like probably 7 people who were in the beginner class, and I like didn't like, it was like beginner, expert, and pro. I was like, definitely not a pro. And I was like, I'm in no means an expert, but I feel like I'm be kind of like sandbagging the beginner class, but like I'm definitely not an expert. And so I was like, I'll just enter like beginner class. And they like they were gonna start the beginner class from below the first right corner, like the only slide corner on the hill. And I was like, no. Like, what if we like race the slide corner and like convince the event organizers to race like from the same start line? And like none of the beginners knew how to slide right, like pretty much including me. And like I remember in final, like there was like it was just semifinals and finals, and in finals we all like kick in, and like everybody explodes in the first corner because we're all beginners and don't know how to slide right. But I like just grab rail, like build the A-frame and just like hold on through the corner, like to like barely make it through like crawling speed, but everybody else crashed and just like took like the victory lap run
Oh my
and won
gosh.
like a case of Red Bull.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So anyway, so went to like Danger Bay, Jake's Rash, Britannia, and then when I came back to LA, I like didn't have any like housing because I wasn't in student housing anymore, and like had talked to Dubler before. I think that was right around the time when I was coming back. He was like going on a skate trip or something, and he was like, "Oh, you can like sublet my room." So I sublet his room for like a month or two, and then when he came back, he's like, "Hey, you can just like crash on the couch for a little bit while you like figure things out." And I was like crashing on the couch and then just kind of like talked to everyone there and like kept crashing on the couch for a little bit. And then like someone else went on a skate trip, sublet their room for a month. And then eventually like someone moved out and like a room opened up, and then moved into like actual skate house when I was like at the tail end of it. And then, yeah, so I probably moved in there like officially like October, maybe it's like September, October of 2016.
Okay.
But like I was like on the couch since probably like June or July.
Very nice. And then I guess it turned into, did it go skate? What was the order Ben was saying?
So it started as Skate Shitty Apartment, which like I don't like, someone else can talk better about that, but I think that was like a 2-bedroom apartment that was either like James and Louise or like Matt K and James or something like that.
So that's like the first gen.
Yeah. It was
Okay.
2-bedroom apartment that they had 7 people living in. And I think each of the rooms were only one person. And then there was like 5 people living in the living room with like sheets set up around couches and stuff like that. But
Crusty.
yeah, someone else can tell you better about that because I have something wrong there. And then they moved into Skate House, lived there for probably like 5 years. And then our like landlord was like, I'm not going to renew the lease because I'm trying to sell the house. So we had to be out end of the year 2016. And then so January 1st, 2017 is when we moved into what is known as Skate Mansion.
Was that kind of in the same area or?
Yeah, it was like maybe 10 or 15 minutes away, slightly closer to Tuna, and like a much better area. Like there's nothing wrong with where Skate House was, but like this new spot was like a lot more like walkable and just like a cooler, hipper area.
Excellent. Who was all living there when you first moved in? What was the lineup?
So when we first moved in, I mean, it would like fluctuate between like 9 and 13 people kind of thing. Yeah. But in the garage, so
we're starting in the garage.
Yeah,
okay,
starting in the
okay.
garage. Was it like I'm like kind of going like clockwise. So I guess counterclockwise. In the garage was Dima, who this Russian like street skater and snowboarder who like came to be friends with the group, who like great person. And so he was living there, and then his friend and our friend Lucas was also living in the garage. It was a 3-car garage with like a loft for like storage, but there was like a window in the loft and stuff. So like one person like,
oh, that's
yeah, it was great.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah. So like they both lived in the garage, but they had like their own spot. And then Zach Keller lived in another room. And then it was me, and then Danny Mack. And then I don't remember who was in one of the closets. Maybe Mike Waffle from Arizona. there was like 2 closets that people lived in. And I don't
How big of a closet are we talking?
had a door with like a light switch and like a window you couldn't open, but like you could fit like a twin size mattress with bed frame, or you could put a full size mattress on the ground that kind of like tacoed a little bit, and then there was like a little bit of like more area like for your stuff. Like,
So you're walking in and out of someone else's room though.
no, it was like a closet to the main room.
Oh.
Yeah, and like had its own light switch, like the door locked. They were paying $350 a month in rent to like be on the west side of Los Angeles. Like,
Get me in the closet.
yeah, no,
I'm in.
it was good. So I think it was, like, I don't remember who exactly was there when we moved in, but I think maybe Mike Waffle, and then Will Humphreys was in the other closet. K Hams was in the back room, and then someone was in the loft. James 5 was in the loft.
Jeez, this is like an army of people.
Yeah. And then like shortly, like Caleb moved into my room with me, so I was like plus 1 person. Like Zach Keller's girlfriend moved in. And just like there was, and then like, you know, someone would come on, stay on the couch for like 2 days, and then they were still there like a month later. So like at any point we had 9 to 13 people living at the house.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. But for the most part, people had like their own rooms.
That's rad.
Yeah.
Man, I'm intrigued by this garage loft spot.
Yeah.
Like, I want that set up right
Yeah.
now.
No, it was really nice. Oh, fun fact. I just went to Khalil and Zach's house. When we moved in, we like went in the backyard. It was like actually a really nice house. We like went into the backyard, and there was just a bong like in the backyard that like the old tenants had just like left there. And that was in January 2017. And like they would like smoke that bong all the time. Just went to Zach and Khalil's house. It's same bong. And they're still smoking it.
Really?
Yeah. Blessed up, moving into Skate Mansion, and they still got it.
Downhill skaters get one bong and use it for their whole life.
I mean, I think it was, I don't know shit about fuck, but I think it was a nice bong.
I love that.
Yeah.
Dude, brotherhood of the traveling bong.
Yeah. And then like there was also, then like at one point like Mike moved out and like Seth moved in, and like he was like a pretty like key character there. Toolman moved in at some point. There was like a good like rotating cast of characters. It's like, I think it's still in the family, but it's all longboard dancers now. And I think like,
Oh, okay.
yeah, because at some point like there's an open room and there's like a longboard dancer, Mark Ponce, who worked at Loaded, and like he needed a place to stay, and so then he like moved into an open room there, and then like another room opened up, and like one of his friends needed a spot, and so then it slowly transformed into like a longboard dance house. And then
Wow.
yeah, so I think it's still in the family, but I don't even know if I would know anybody who lives there.
Dang. Quite the motley crew.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of names I recognize too. That's pretty rad.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to circle back to Tuna
Yeah.
for a second while we're riffing on California. I wanted to bring up your video on Venom
Yeah.
of you in the tracksuit
Speed suit.
speed suit. What was that? What was the inspiration for that?
So I like would talk a lot of shit on the internet back in the day, and like it started talking a lot of shit on people's tuna runs, because like they would like grip a bunch of stuff or like take like really cool lines, but they would be in like baggy ass clothes and like not tucking and stuff. And it's like, yeah, like for sure you like did that cool thing, but you were going slow as hell. And so then I was like, I got the idea for it like a couple years before I filmed the video, but I was like, I'm not gonna tuck this straight in a speed suit. Like that's horrifying. And so I like tried to get Dex to film it, because like Dex is a goblin and very good at skating tuna. I was like, Dex, you should do this. It would be really sick. And he was like, yeah, like would be really sick. You should do it. And I was like, nah. And then like eventually enough time had passed, and I like really wanted to film a tuna video, but like I needed it to be like I couldn't just take like downhill hands down race lines, because like that video had been filmed a bunch of times. So it was like I gotta like do something.
Gotta up the ante a little bit.
Yeah, and so I was like, I guess I gotta do that.
Dude, I rewatched that recently. Like you rip off the pants and shirt. First off, I'm like, when I first watched it, I'm like, why is he wearing such baggy clothing?
Dude, and that was the whole point. I was like being like, like that was kind of, yeah, I was like trying to kind of talk shit like through filming that video, and it totally worked because there's like some of the comments on the video was like, oh, like, yeah, like obviously like nice baggy clothing is like easy line to take and stuff like that.
Did you not watch the end?
Yeah, I was like commenting halfway through and I was like, hell yeah, like so stoked that like got people with it.
Well, you're like entering the open straight and you're in the speed suit and you're like already you're at the top of the straight and you're already mocking.
Dude, one of the scariest things I've ever done in my life. It was horrifying.
You nail the left slide going into closed straight though.
Yeah.
I was like biting my fingernails. It's like,
yeah.
Dude, things can go very wrong right there.
Yeah, in my head that did not look like that at all. I was just like, I barely made it, like thought I barely made it through, and I like watched the footage, like, damn, that actually looks really good.
Kind of nailed it, bro.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so I was really, really stoked on that. Fun fact about the speed suit, that was Seth McKinney's that he got at a thrift store for like $15, just kind of as like a bit.
Oh.
He was like at a thrift store when like the whole speed suit thing was like popping off and saw one for like $15 and was like, yeah, why not? And he bought that, and then that's what I wore down Tuna.
Who dropped that off at a thrift store? I'm wondering.
And it was like, wasn't even like a Goodwill. It was like it was a Plato's Closet, like one of like the curated stores. So like someone got paid probably like $4 to like sell that to Plato's Closet, and Plato's Closet was like, yep, like this is gonna sell, and like
someone will buy this.
Or maybe wasn't Buffalo. It was maybe like Buffalo Exchange or something. But yeah.
Ben was making the remark that potentially the only speed suit run down Tuna ever.
Probably.
Like, I can't recall anyone else that's done that.
Yeah, wouldn't recommend it. I like wobbled in the straight twice.
Dude, you were gaining speed.
Yeah.
At a rapid rate.
Yeah, it was no good.
You still have the suit?
No, it was Seth's.
Oh.
I wore it. That was the first and only time I ever wore the speed suit.
Yeah, worth it.
Yeah. Like I practiced ripping off the pants like in front of the house on a cruiser board a couple of times, and then like went and filmed the run.
I also came across that just like a 2-second clip of you ripping the pants off like down the hill.
Yeah, it was practice.
Yeah, I'll link that in the show notes whenever this comes out. People want to see.
So I actually tried to film a Tuna video before that, like a couple years earlier, and like just like a regular Tuna video, and ate so much shit into like the first chicane, and like I'll show you the clip after this, like ended up like upside down and stuff, and it was awful, and just got in the car and rode down the hill and was like, and then like put it on ice for like the idea of filming a Tuna run for a couple years.
Well, it's worth the wait.
Yeah, I think it worked out well.
I love that. All right, I'm going to shift gears a little bit here. Got another guest question I'm going to throw at you. This one's from Ashley Weinkoff. Here goes.
Hey, Austin. Ashley here. Just got a couple questions for you. First being, what is something that the European mind simply cannot comprehend? Curious to hear your answer to that one. And do you have any good Facebook memories for today? Would love to hear what you were up to in 2009, if that's possible. Love you. Bye.
So me and Ashley have been every day checking our Facebook memories and sharing them back and forth. And for some reason, in 2009, I was posting like 3 statuses a day. And like 50% of them were about sleep. Like, can't wait to go to sleep later, or like, man, I'm so tired today. Why do I have to go to school? I already checked my Facebook memories today. It was like some lyrics to some song that I don't remember. It was nothing very interesting. Dude, the European mind can't comprehend a banked corner. Like they have dropping corners sometimes, but like no corners where like it's actually banked through the corner. And like I was just blowing lane on so many corners when I first got there, because I'd like go in deep to the corner, like thinking you'd do a little slide, and the corner like hug you around it and like
do a little work for you at the end. Yeah.
It was more like the California mind can't comprehend a flat corner.
It's the other way around.
Yeah. European mind can't comprehend a hay bale, apparently. Yeah, once we like start talking about Europe, I'll throw a couple more in there once I remember them.
Hell yeah. Well, I mean, we're here.
Yeah.
Let's get into your European experience this year.
Yeah.
So you went out with you, Ashley, and Ben. Was that your
Me,
squad?
Ashley, Ben, and Micah G.
Oh yeah, Micah too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sick crew.
Yeah, it was an all-star crew. We went out, so the four of us were there for a month, and then Ashley and Micah left, and then me and Ben and some other friends continued for another month. So me and Ben were out there for like 2 months. Ashley and Micah were out there for like a month.
What was your first? Where'd you go first?
So we flew into Prague in Czech Republic, or Chesnia, whatever. It's got a bunch of names. In hopes of going to Kozakov, but Kozakov got canceled. And so then we pretty much immediately drove to the French Alps. We were going to go to the Pyrenees from there, which would have been like a 24-hour drive or like 18 or something like that. But it was going to be raining in the Pyrenees, and a bunch of our friends were in the French Alps. So we went there, skated Col d'Izoard, which is like there's 100 gigabytes of footage on the internet of people skating that road this summer. Got very clapped out, but understandably so. It was a great road. I know like Harry and Mitch and a bunch of them, you can camp at the bottom of that road for like 7 to 10 days and would skate like probably 16 runs a day for 10 days straight.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
You can just post up on the side of the road.
There was like a campsite at the bottom, and you would like skate it, and then Harry would wake everybody up. We called it Champ Camp because Harry, world champ. Harry would wake everybody up at 6:30 a.m. by clinging 2 glass bottles together, like clink, 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 clink. And then we'd all wake up, drive up the hill, skate runs until probably like 8:30 when a bunch of cars started driving up the hill, like tourist stuff. And then we would like go back to camp at the bottom of the road, like sleep, eat some food, do some crossword puzzles, like go to the river, hang out. And then around like 6 p.m. we would drive back up and skate runs until sunset, until like we couldn't, until it was dark out.
Nice.
Yeah. And so like I think we're only there for like 3 days, but like some of them were there for like 7 to 10. They did like 800 kilometers of Izoard or something like that. They like did the math, and it was like twisted.
You're talking about puzzle games. I noticed did you have a chessboard?
Yeah.
With you?
Yeah, I was playing a lot of chess.
Who's the chess champ in the squad?
I was winning most games.
All right, you're a chess player?
But like I'm not good at chess. Like I've been playing with now, like me and Sean Wilkinson play a decent amount, and like he beats me most of the time. And like I have a couple other friends I play with, and like they beat me most of the time. Like, I'm not good at chess, but I like just happen to be just good enough to win most of the games.
I love that. I like to play some chess. I got a chessboard.
Yeah, I'm super down.
Like, yeah, we'll have to play sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
good thing to bring on the road.
Yeah, it was like a little travel chess set. It was good to have. Jevons was telling me last year he brought a travel Catan set that.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's how people get in fights.
Yeah.
People aren't friends
after that game. No. But he forgot that, so we just had chess. And then Tim White brought a bunch of crossword puzzles, but Australian style, like cryptic crosswords, which are like a whole like mind fuck kind of thing, not like regular crosswords. So we were like spending a lot of time doing those.
Amazing. Getting your brain right, getting some good brain activity in between runs.
Yeah, I got to get dopamine somehow.
So what was your trajectory after kind of hitting that zone?
After Champ Camp, I think we went straight to New Senna after that, which was like one of the couple races. So originally when we first went to Europe, me and Ben had been like scheming this for a while. We were like, the 2 things we're not missing in Europe is Kozakov and Vulcan, and they both didn't happen. So we were kind of like, all right, like what else is happening? So there's a WDSC race, New Senna, which like looked really cool. Like the track had a couple hairpins and like a couple fast sections, and registration was like $130 for 4 days. So we were like,
let's go.
Yeah, exactly. We were like, yeah, like well, why not? And then like talking to other people, like everybody was going to that. So we pulled up to that next, and it was like appropriately a huge shit show.
I heard a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you want to elaborate? What was your experience?
My experience was hilarious. So like the WDSC, similar to other like the IDF and the IGSA, like doesn't like now is kind of starting, but like they're just a sanctioning body. They like didn't organize the race. They just like provided like brackets and timing. Maybe not even, they didn't even provide timing. They provided brackets and like a bunch of like live stream media coverage. But like the event organizer was like super stressed and like all over the place. So they like, it was like a weird thing where like the event organizer was like the one responsible for closing the road, but then WDSC was like sending riders down from the start line. And there's like a whole bunch of like miscommunication there and stuff. And it was like, I don't know. And so that was on race day, but the day before, Saturday, it was like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. On Saturday, I hit an exposed guardrail. I was going like pretty slow and like I was like totally fine, skated the rest of the run, but was like very salty that I hit an exposed guardrail on like a World Cup track. And like they didn't like the protection there. The European mind can't comprehend the well-protected course, which like I know actually isn't even true. Cause like I've seen like videos of like Kozakov, which looks like it has hay bales down the entire thing and looks like perfect. But like of the couple events I went to in Europe, like course protection was severely lacking, but registration was also dirt cheap. But like that, I'd rather pay more to get, but they had a couple hay bales. They had wood pallets, like vertically and like stakes behind them to like hold them up. And like sometimes that was your protection to like not go off a cliff.
A wood pallet.
Yeah, a wood pallet with like a stake behind it holding it upright.
So you're gonna like smash into wood.
Which you'll 100% break a wood pallet if you hit it with any speed.
Yeah, with your like arm or legs.
Yeah, or like you'll get it like in
gosh.
between. And like sometimes they had a hay bale in front of it. Often they did not. And they also had a bunch of hay bales like directly on guardrails, which like you need a little bit of a gap kind of thing. And then the majority of protection was mattresses, like not like ski pads, like legitimate, like you go to like the dumpster behind the Goodwill and there's like 4 mattresses that have been sitting out there in the rain and like have stains on them. They put those on the guardrail as protection.
Oh my gosh.
And so like I imagine if you like hit a guardrail through a mattress, like it wouldn't really do that much in the first place. So you'd still be hitting like thing about hay bales, they like move slightly when you hit them, which like they're heavy and so they like damp and like they're kind of soft, they're not soft, but like you hit them and then they move and like that's what kind of stops you.
Yeah.
But if you would put a mattress directly on a guardrail, you'd still just be hitting an immovable object. It'd just have like 6 inches of foam on it.
Yeah, it's like the energy force is just you're hitting.
Yeah.
You said it.
Yeah. And
stationary object.
Yes.
And that's not good.
No. And so they had like a bunch of mattresses and like even if you have 2 mattresses like butted up perfectly against each other, if you hit that seam, you're just hitting an exposed guardrail. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah.
Like, I mean, if you're hitting the center of the mattress, you're basically still hitting exposed guardrail. But like, if you hit the seam or like 6 inches on either side, like there's not enough like stuff there. And
you're gonna split it open.
Yeah. And so they weren't even like butting up against each other. They had like gaps in the mattresses. And so I hit like in a slide corner, I like didn't slide enough and then like washed on the exit because I had too much speed and like hit and fully exposed, like in between 2 mattresses that were like 2 or 3 feet apart. Got to the top of the hill, was very upset, and had no faith in the event organizer really. Like he was stressed out, like yelling at people, going off. And so I was like, talked to Harry and I was like, yo, Haz, who like at this point, like the event organizer and the WDSC was like leaning on Haz so much. It was like comedic. Like we were making the joke that it was like Harry's first event that he threw kind of thing. Cause like when it came to like race day and qualifying, like he was basically in charge. And he did great. Like Haz is a great person, great friend. And I was like, yo, like, dude, I just like hit a guardrail. Like, what's up with that? He's like, you should go talk to somebody. Like, I'm like, that's unacceptable. I agree with you. So I went up to someone at the WDSC and was like, yo, like, why the fuck did I just hit an exposed guardrail? And he's like, oh, I don't know. Like, damn, that's crazy. And then we like started arguing a bit. And like, whether or not someone hit an exposed guardrail or not, like the course was just not safe. And basically, and then like we had an interaction where I said, is this an acceptable level of safety for a WDSC event? And then I don't remember if I was talking to Salim or Will Stevenson. There's like 3 people involved, like main people. Salim, I don't know his last name, might be Salim, is like how you pronounce it. Will Stevenson and Chris McBride. I was talking to, I think Salim and Chris McBride, or Salim and Will Stevenson. I don't remember who was like actually saying the things. I was like, is this an acceptable level of safety for a WDSC event? And they said no. And then I said, okay, so why is it still happening? And they said, because we've put a lot of money into the event this far. And that's when I just like put my hands up and walked away. Like they just like so clearly said that they value riders, or they value money over rider safety.
Jeez, dude.
Yeah. And so then like we had some whole like meeting with like everybody at the race, and like me and the WDC yelled at each other back and forth a little bit. And like we ended up like in a vote, like, should this race still happen? Like, of course, like everyone voted for the race to still happen, like, which I knew was going to happen, and like wasn't necessarily like trying to cancel the event, just trying to like put some pressure on them to do better. And that was on Saturday. And so we had a whole vote, should the race be canceled? And like everyone voted no, it should still happen. And like throughout this entire conversation, it was just like with like the riders and the WDSC, like the event organizer like wasn't really even there. And then on Sunday, there was like a bunch of miscommunication with like the event organizer shutting down the road, but WDSC dropping, like sending riders, and like things were getting super rushed. At one point, someone on the walkie like said like, hold riders, like there's a yellow flag, we got to clean up like these like mattresses or whatever. And the event organizer was like, no, like we don't have time, just send them. And it's like shit like that was happening. And then eventually it was like getting like way too stressful, and like very rushed, and like that's how something like catastrophic happens.
Yeah.
And a lot of people there were at Rio in 2018 when Alison Pastrana got hit by a motorcycle on course and died. And a lot of people there were like, this is like reminding me like way too much of that. And so that's when WDSC pulled sanctioning, and like race got canceled, and then like another race like still happened like afterwards, but without the WDSC like involved at all.
So that's what it took. They still, rider safety is bad, still doing it, but then Sunday, the realization, like, this is actually super bad.
Yeah.
I heard, was there like a truck or something, or like a car
Oh,
on
there's
the
something
course
with,
too?
yeah. And so like when like everything was going down, the WDSC had one of their vans parked in between lockups. So like there's like a lockup at the top of the road, lockup at the bottom of the road, for cars, and they had a van parked like in between the two lockups. It was like
On the race course?
it was like past the finish line off the road, but it was in between lockups. And the event organizer, whose like job it is to throw the event and shut the road down, was like, hey, you need to move your van. Uncool, it's in between lockups. And they're like, no, it's fine, it's like off the road, like no one's gonna hit it. And like they're like pretty right about that, but like that doesn't matter. Like if someone's going to hit it or not, like having a van in between lockups, if the person running the event says it's unacceptable, is like unacceptable. And like they didn't want to move it, and the event organizer wanted them to move it. And that's kind of when everything fell apart. And so there was never like a car like driving up the hill during an event, during a race or anything like that. It was like,
That's good, yeah.
Yeah, it was like a parked car, but like, I mean, and the event organizer and WDC were like beefing so hard. Like, after the meeting we had on Saturday, where like people were like voting to like cancel it or not cancel it or whatever, like after that whole thing where we voted to like hold the race, like the event organizer like came in front of all the riders, like just like yelling like, fuck the WDSC, like this is my race, we're gonna throw the race, you guys want to race, like we're doing it, kind of thing.
Oh my
gosh.
gosh.
He's a very funny character. Like I love him kind of as a bit, but like I'm not ever trying to go to one of his events again. Great memory from, so we staged at the top of the course where there wasn't like, it was like cliff on one side and like guardrail on the other, so you just had to like stage your shit like in the road. And so like naturally we like spill out into the road, and there's like not really a lane for traffic to get by, and he's trying to drive by, and Harry is like laying in the road, and he's like, Harry, get out of the way. And Harry's like, you can get through, like there's fine. And like he could get through, but there's like this much space on either end, you know what I mean? And like you can't see that in a car. And so he like drives to the start line, like parks, and like comes like fuming back towards Harry. And like he's like a middle-aged, like short Italian man. Like there's like steam coming out of his ears. He's wearing these red slides where like if this is the slide, his toes are so far over the edge, they're like gripping the sandal kind of thing. Like
I can picture this perfectly.
Yeah. He's like storming, and he's like, Harry Clark, like, this is my house. And Harry's like, what, you live here like on the road? And he's like, Harry Clark, you are the world champion of my balls. And like we like, it was the quote of Euro Tour. And like that's just like, that was like the energy of the event organizer, you know what I mean?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And he had some like assistants helping him that did like the kind of like held it together. And it like wasn't necessarily like all bad, but like the whole event like was a shit show. Oh, and the best part about it was WDC raced a race in 2022, like TST, which was thrown by the same event organizer. Apparently that was a huge shit show. I wasn't there. I don't know. It's just what I heard. Like that was a huge shit show, but like went off. And then after that, the WDSC was like, we're never coming to one of his events again. And then 2020.
But then they did.
And then it got canceled, and it was a huge shit show.
I mean, that's such a bummer. Like, I would be so bummed if I traveled that far for an event. First off, you show up and two of the main events you want to go to are canceled.
Yeah. I mean, luckily we knew they were both canceled like before. So, but yeah, it was a bummer. Yeah.
And then you segue into a new event and it turns south.
Yeah.
Like, I just think that even if one person that's competing isn't okay with the road, something needs to be done.
Yeah.
Like, I've been in situations like that before. Like, and usually it's like people have been like, okay, if we can get like $200.
Yeah, that happened
together.
Was that Killington?
Yeah, Killington. Yeah. We'll get more bales. If everyone throws in like $5 or something.
Yeah.
Cool, no big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, rider safety first. How are you supposed to pin it 110% down a road knowing that you could get maimed? Like, you could be seriously injured.
Yeah. I mean, and like luckily nobody was like seriously injured besides like a couple. I'm sure there's like a dislocated shoulder, like a broken ankle, but that's going to happen even with the best protected course.
Yeah, you know, that's normal stuff.
Yeah. So like everybody was fine, and I'm like super glad, and like everything like that. But it was, and like they were like, oh, like, okay, like what corners need more protection? And like Harry like worked with them and like walked through the course, was like, you need more protection here, 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 and here. But they like didn't have any more available, so they were just like moving it from other places, kind of thing. So,
wow.
But some of the people there were like, "Oh, this amount of course protection's fine," and I was like, "So all right, like maybe I'm just being like a loud American. I don't know. It might just be me." But I hit an exposed guardrail and felt unsafe. So,
yeah, and I mean, I respect your thoughts too on it, because you've been to a lot of events too, and if you're like, "Hey, this is," you know, I think that definitely says something. But it's kind of a bummer. I was really looking forward to watching the live stream. Like, I was just like clicking refresh, and I was like, what is going on?
Yeah. So even better, they like travel there. Like WDSC had like tons of staff there and like cameras in like a lot of corners, and they had a fiber optic internet cable, whatever line running from like to each camera to the top of the hill, whatever, so they could like get the feed and like live stream it and broadcast it. And I don't know if this was intentional or not, but the event organizer ran over the fiber optic cable with his car. Ooh. And those cables are very fragile and just broke. Like the cable just like got squished and just did not work, so they couldn't use their cameras. And like again, like he might have just been like turning around and like wheels went a little off the road where their cable was coiled up. I don't know. I'm not saying anything. I just like but then they like couldn't use their cameras, and then they had like 2 drones. So they were like,
So that's why.
yeah,
Okay, because I was watching it. It's just like drone shot kicking in to like the first corner and then
Yeah.
nothing.
yeah, and then like there was too much tree coverage, and like the drone wasn't like giving good signal back, and then like at the very end they had a second drone you would like pick up at the very end sometimes. But like yeah, like we sent, I think, all but like there was like a round of, I think it was like a bracket of 64, and we sent all but the last like 3 to 5 heats. So like a lot of people like kicked into the race heats before they like pulled the plug. Remember like Josh Evans was like standing on the starting line for like an hour, just like why, like what's going, kind of thing. And so like, they like had sent people, and were like trying to do it, but like just had the drones, which like didn't work super well because their fiber optic cable had been sabotaged.
That's a bummer, man. I mean, was there any positives out of the event? Did you make any good memories still there?
Yeah,
or,
like met a bunch of people, like the campground, or they're not the event campground, but there was like a nicer campground, like not that far away that we stayed at. That was like super cool. And like met a lot of like the other racers there in like Europe and stuff that like I hadn't met before. And like I don't know, anytime you're at like a race like of that high caliber, like you like learn so much just like being around like world champions and stuff like that. And like yeah, we had so on race day, race got canceled, and like a race like still happened afterwards, but it was without WDSC sanctioning, and so like not that many people raced it. And we all went to like the nice campground, which had a pool, and we all just like were middle schoolers in a pool for an afternoon.
Sick.
We were like playing like like doing like chicken fights, and we were trying to build like a pyramid in the pool. And,
Oh,
like,
hell yeah.
dude, we were playing Marco Polo. It was so fun. It was like those were like really good memories.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, silver lining.
Yeah. And like it
Still
was
in Europe. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. It was like still in Europe, still having a great time. Like I like was not skating that course very well, so I like wasn't gonna do well at the race, so it was kind of like whatever. And like it was nice to like, I have like a lot of my thoughts about the WDSC, but it was like good to like be at one of their events and like talk to the people there and like see what they're about and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think there's some things. I do like that they're trying to do the live stream thing. I mean, it got, someone ran over the cable, but I think that's a cool thing to be doing. I mean, especially just for people that are in it, but for fans.
Yeah,
like, that's,
for sure.
I mean, it's cool as shit to watch.
Yeah. Yeah.
But maybe the budget needs to be a little bit adjusted and scaled towards safety, and maybe pulled a little off, things like that.
Which again, like when that was happening, they were just the sanctioning body, so they weren't really like in charge of like throwing the event and stuff, but like they still need to have some sort of practice in place that makes sure this course is safe before they arrive and everything. And now they're kind of like, with these like turkey races they're throwing, they're the ones like hosting them kind of things. So, like they have a lot more control and stuff. And like there's some stuff that they're like doing well, and like some stuff I agree with. Like there's like potential for them to make a lot of money, which I have like thoughts about, but in order to have sustainability, like in skateboarding, you need to have money behind it. Like,
yeah,
if you look at Mary Hill, like Dino makes money off of Mary Hill, as he should, because he's like throwing a like really good event every year. And like Mary Hill happens like year after year after year. And like Kozakov, with the exception of last year, happened like every year for like years in a row because and like it looked like a sick event because the guy like made money off of it, and like that's good. That's how we have consistency, that's how we have sustainability. If you look at like Mike Gerard, threw like some of the sickest events on the East Coast, but like was never breaking, like was like barely breaking even, and like stopped doing it, understandably so, because he was putting in hours and hours and hours and getting like throwing sick events and having great parties and stuff. But like eventually you need something more than that. So like
does the end justify the means if you're an event organizer? Like,
so I'm here for people making money on skateboard events. Like,
oh yeah,
they should.
Yeah, we're definitely like, I mean, we're certainly in like the free ride era of events too. It seems like, I I mean, I don't know how many people were at GRC, but I mean,
I think like 180-ish.
Yeah, like that's how many people need to be at events.
Yeah.
Like to
Yeah.
turn a profit.
Yeah. And like hopefully once you turn a profit, or even before that, like the course is safe enough. You have like good practice where like you're getting a lot of runs and your volunteers are getting paid. I think that's a huge one, is like paying course workers, paying volunteers.
Yeah, good volunteers too that know what they're doing are like so valuable.
Make a huge difference.
Huge difference. Like you really want people that know what they're doing.
Yeah.
On course. And yeah, I mean, I think also picking roads that are just generally gonna be safer, like let's say like sliding corner that just has a pull off or something that doesn't even have guardrail to begin with. Like you could slide like 20 yards off the road and not hit anything. Like I think maybe looking at certain roads like, hey, that's gonna be an issue no matter what. Like maybe we shouldn't even throw an event here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
yeah, absolutely. And I think like I like also like talking to people after the event. I like don't trust skaters to be like, was this a good event or not? Because like, was this a good event or not? Like you skated like a sick closed road and had like a great time partying with your friends. You're gonna be like, yeah, that was sick. But like trusting someone who actually like looked at the event and was like, all right, like did we get a good amount of runs? Were they in like were they run efficiently? Was there like everything we needed? Is like I think a lot harder to determine if like an event was good or not. And I think it's a lot more than just like, did you have fun skateboarding? And I think like honestly, one of the best ways to determine that is talk to the volunteers and like ask the volunteers like their experiences and stuff. And like, yeah, because like you said, like they can make or break an event.
100%. Good U-Haul drivers too. Oh my gosh.
Dude,
that's like
at GRC, like I mean, like you're like the corners are like so steep and banked and dropping. It's like so hard to get a U-Haul up there that you're like kind of like falling out the back and like flying around. And I drove in I took rides in Cactus Kevin's U-Haul. Best U-Haul I've ever ridden in. He was like I don't know what that dude's got, but like he was driving them like so perfect around the corners. Like honestly, I was like surprised. Where like after I ran on my first Cactus Kevin U-Haul, I only went on his U-Haul the rest of the event.
Yeah, you find the good driver and you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like last year, Bailey Weinkoff was one of the drivers, and I'm like, I'm only going in Bailey's.
Yeah.
He was actually getting up the hill so efficiently and safely. Like we were the lead. He was a lead U-Haul. We got to the top of the hill so much quicker that like Khalil thought that like we were all up there. It was like, no, there's still 2 more U-Hauls that haven't even got up here. Like it was that big of a gap.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, shout out to volunteers at skate events.
Yeah, y'all do good work and should be paid.
You also went to K&K?
Yeah.
Was that the next stop?
Yeah. We went and skated a couple open roads. We skated Passo Giao in Italy, which was like the Louis P 14-minute Raw Run video, which was like really cool to skate.
Check that one off the list.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That was cool. And then we went and skated this like other road in Italy that was like so sick. And like Micah G just like found it on Google Maps, like never knew, like wouldn't know, like didn't know if it was going to be skatable or not. We had like looked at the pavement, like sussed it out, like it's probably going to be cool. And we like show up and there's like a free campground at the bottom that had like a gazebo and like river access and like all this stuff. Like this is sick. And then we're like hanging out in the campground and we see like a van with like a free break sticker on it. And we're like, what's up with that? And like, we were like just talking to someone else at the campground. They're like, oh, like, what are you guys doing here? And they're like, oh, we're going to skate down this road. They're like, oh, like, so are those guys over there. And we like go over and there's like other skaters already there. And we like talk to them. They're like, how do you guys know about this road? And we're like, Micah's like, I don't know. We just like found it on Google Maps. And they're like, sick. Let's like skate tomorrow. And then we like took a bunch of sick roads. It's like an A-frame. There's like a fast, like sicko side and like a slightly like slower, like easier side. And like took a bunch of really, really good runs.
Wow. That's great minds think alike.
Yeah. And then from there, we went to K&K. But that road is where I hit my first guardrail.
Was this the video that Jack sent me?
Yeah.
You good from that?
Yeah.
Just a little shook up, maybe?
Yeah. I'm going to put some new foam in my helmet, but...
Good call.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Was that your first time at K&K?
First time in Europe, so yeah. Yeah, dude, K&K was awesome. It's like a really well thrown event. It is like safe. It is dialed. Like no notes on K&K.
It looks like the road's pretty dang wide.
It's so wide. It can like hold like similar, like much different road than GRC, but like similar spec where you can just kind of like push in with a pack and like it'll just work out.
Just works out.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
That's when I've always been like, man, I really, if I ever go to Europe, I gotta go.
Yeah. That one's like sick too, because once you get to that, like it's like based around basically like a hotel. Once you get to that hotel, you like don't need anything else the entire week. Like from that hotel has your lodging, like you can camp or get a hotel room. Even if you're camping, has showers, like hot water, has meals that you can buy. And then from the hotel, they bus you to the hill. You can skate the hill all day. There's food available at the hill, and then they bus you back to the hotel where the party happens, like on the hotel grounds.
Hospitality.
Yeah, it was like all time event.
That's all time, dude.
Yeah.
What was that other event you went to? Bucolic?
There was after K&K, we went to an event called Lemanique Freeride in France.
Okay.
Which it like rained most days. We got a couple dry runs, and I did not want to skate in the rain, so I didn't really skate that much. That event, sick road, also not much protection.
Seeing a common theme here.
Yeah, but that was cool. You could like skate from the finish line to the campground, which you always love.
Always a plus.
And then we went to this like free ride race called Bucolic in Switzerland, which didn't have a single hay bale. Had mattresses, or not mattresses, had like ski foam mats kind of thing, but no hay bales, lots of exposed guardrail.
Cool road though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah. One of the event organizers, they like tried to make like round robin brackets using ChatGPT. And there was like 5
new take.
Yeah, there's supposed to be like 5 like round robin heats, and there was people who were racing the same, like 3 people in every single one of their heats with just like one different person. And we were all kind of like, yo, like this is kind of whack. And then the dude running the brackets like had a dummy spit and like frisbeed an iPad, which was pretty cool to see. Like through like a skateboard that I'm pretty sure like hit a child or something like that. And then Mitch Thompson was like, all right, like if you want to race, let me know. And then we just like Mitch like threw a race.
Huh.
Yeah.
Sounds like pretty fun to experience.
Yeah, it was like, I mean, it was like low stakes, you know, it was like not that many people were there. Like we weren't really expecting all that much. It was a good time. I had fun like hanging out with the people there. They were like the Mitch threw the race, and then subsequently threw a sick party afterwards, because the organizer like didn't have a party organized for after race day, so Mitch was like, fuck it, like I'm throwing the party, and we all had like a great time.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
What was your favorite road you hit? Like what was top for you for the trip?
Isouard was definitely up there. And which is in the French Alps. That road I was telling you about with the campsite at the bottom in Italy, that one was like huge. And then there's like a couple roads in the French Pyrenees, which were like really good.
Seems like the zone.
Yeah. I mean,
the stuff I saw y'all posting, I was like, that looks unreal.
Yeah, it was like, I mean, anywhere you go, there's like sick hills. So I'm like lucky to have 2 months there where we like were able to hit a bunch of different spots and not just like stay in the French Alps or not just stay in like the Italian Dolomites. So
looks like y'all had a time.
Yeah.
I was living vicariously.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah. I mean, there's like so many hills that didn't get to skate that I want to go back to. Like didn't get to go to Austria, which like Harry says one of his top 3 hills, maybe the best hill he's ever skated in the world is in Austria. So gotta go back.
Gotta go back, man.
Yeah.
Gotta do it. Gotta do it while you can, you know?
Yeah. These knees aren't lasting forever. That's for sure.
Kind of wanted to circle back a little bit to WDSC kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I know you're posting some things being a little vocal about, you know, inclusivity, and it kind of looked like the women's side of racing was pretty limited
Yeah.
for attendance. Kind of wanted to know your thoughts on
Yeah.
that.
So I think WC hasn't made many like announcements, or like we all don't really like know super what's going on. If you're in some like exclusive group chats, I'm sure you know more, but I'm not a part of those. So WC, I think moving forward is going to like limit the amount of riders who are like eligible to race. Like it's going to be like for like open, or I don't know if it's going to be open or men's, but it's going to be like 32 people, and they choose like 28 people, and then there's kind of like 4 wild cards, which like I'm actually kind of like can kind of agree with that in some sense. Like the top premier level racing shouldn't also be for beginners or like intermediate people, where I think like eventually that organizing body like should do things to like help foster growth and like new people coming into the sport. But like fostering growth could also be like making sick race media to get people excited to go to like their local races.
Yeah.
So like I'm like not against like putting rider caps, and also makes events more manageable, especially with the focus on media and stuff. But so I think their numbers for men's or open is like 32, and then men's luge is 16, women's skateboard is 8, and women's luge is 4.
That's
Yikes.
Yowza.
Yeah, and like I like talked to them about it. I talked to Will Stevenson about it, who's like he always like he like said to me, he's like, yeah, if you ever have any problems, like hit me up. Like I'm always down to talk. So, and like he like said that to like other people. Like he was like, and if anybody else like needs to talk, like so like Will Stevenson with WDSC, I like Will. Like if anybody out there's got beef, like DM him. He was pretty responsive to me. But like talked to him, I was like, yo, like why only like 8 women? And he was like, well, like, cause we like don't really have like a good turnout at our races, like in the women's division. And like, I don't know, they just like made a bunch of, I don't know what I'm trying to say. They're just not being super inclusive. They're like not really seemingly focusing much on women's racing, and don't really, I don't know, like seem like I don't know the right way to word this. I think there's a lot more they could be doing to be inclusive for women and non-binary people in racing.
I don't see why you wouldn't just make it 32.
Yeah,
like the open class. Why?
Yeah, great question. I mean, and like they said, like we just don't have enough like people showing up to our races. And I was like, okay, well, like the women are there. Like there was like 35 people or something like at World Roller Games in Argentina, 35 women, and like there's like more women out there in the world, and like obviously that's one race rather than like a circuit and stuff like that. But it was like I like talked to them, like had some old conversation at the end of it. Like I was like, cool, like I see you're like having a desire to like include more women and stuff, but like women still aren't going to show up to your event, and like you gotta ask yourself why.
And that's not a good place to start. I mean, that's not helping.
Yeah, and like yeah, I don't know, but they're. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I just wanted to touch on it because I think it's pretty dumb. I mean, like I do agree with you. Like 32 people, yeah, let's kind of cut out. Like you gotta be like really fucking good.
Yeah.
To get in, like kind of, there's gonna be more media, be easier to get people up the hill.
Yeah.
Get things moving faster, but why not just make it 32 and 32 and I don't know. I feel like luge. I mean, why is luge getting 16 versus 4? That's insane too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not.
Is there even 16 men's lugers?
Yeah, there are. There's a lot of men's lugers.
Okay.
I mean, and especially associated with the WDSC because it's like 3 people running it. One of them has no knowledge or experience in skateboarding, and then the other 2 are men lugers. So like I think the luge scene is like pretty tapped into the WDSC.
I see. All right.
And like I'm not calling for like less lugers or anything like that. They can have whatever numbers they want to have. I don't know.
We love our lugers.
I'm not gonna. I love some specific lugers. But I don't know shit about luging, and like I don't know much about luge racing, so I'm like not really touching on that. you know? But like, yeah, I don't know. There's enough women to make up a bracket who want to race at a high level, but they're like not showing up, and they're showing up to races. They're just not showing up to WDSC races, and I think there's a lot of reasons for that.
Yeah, I think there's parallels going on.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I just, wanted to touch on that
Yeah.
with you. Because, I haven't been to one of their events. I've only seen what I've seen,
Yeah.
On the internet and stuff.
Don't waste your money.
I probably won't.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna break it up a little bit. Actually got another guest question for you.
All right.
Yeah, we're gonna go another direction here. Here goes. This is from Joel Millman.
Hey, Dan, I got a guest question for Austin Pedroni. 2018 Devil's Peak, we had a pretty epic dawn patrol in a national park. Austin, do you remember what happened to your skateboard at the end of that session?
Do you?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I think at the time it was Devil's Peak 2018. No, that was Devil's Peak 2019.
Okay.
At the time I was riding like a prototype Madrid board that I'd like cut out myself that I like really liked. It was super cool. And we went into Rocky Mountain National Park to like skate this road in there.
What's the road name?
The road is Trail Ridge Road.
Oh yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, T Ridge. You like sleep at Kevin Cooper's house, Coop, and like then you like rock up at like 4:30 a.m. wait for the first light, and then you like kick in. It's like epic. You're like dropping in like super high elevation. And my girlfriend was like parked in my van at the top, like sleeping or something like that, or maybe she was driving a shuttle car. I don't really remember. But then like we like skate down the road, and then we came back to the top parking lot. We're just like hanging out for a while, and I'd like set myself outside my van, and then when it came time to leave, just like backed up and left my skateboard at the top of the hill. And like skating in the park is very illegal. They like will ticket you. And like we get back to Coop's house, and we're just like hanging out. We go back to sleep, like wake up, like hanging out, and like we're about to like head back down to like Boulder or wherever. And I like check my like board like trunk area. I'm like, my board's not here. Like, guess I'd left it in the park. So I like floored it back to the park. Was like trying to like blow up like social media channels, trying to find it. Like went all the way back to the top, which was kind of a far drive. Like didn't see it, like asking some like park ranger people, and then someone like hits me up, was like, oh yo, I gave it to like the park ranger, like blah blah blah. So I like drove to the bottom and like the main park ranger office, and they like, yeah, like I don't know, like yeah, I think we like got like a skateboard somewhere, like we'll go get it. And then like 30 minutes, like they're just like waiting there for like 30 minutes, and then someone like comes like, hey, like, this yours? I'm like, yep. And he's like, all right, cool. I'm like, all right, cool. And he's like, no, you can't have it yet. I'm like, look, what's up? And he's like, I know y'all were skateboarding here this morning. And I'm like, yeah, I actually didn't get to take a run because I forgot my board. Like, that's why you guys have it, because I forgot it. Not true, you know. But he like wasn't actually ever going to give me a ticket, but he was just like being a hard ass with me and like, you guys can't skate here, blah, blah, blah. But I was like, didn't know where my board was like the day or two before Devils was going to start. Like,
you're like, sir, I need that.
Yeah, I was stressing. I also didn't have it was like I lost my board and my helmet, and like I have a mids lid, and it's like one of a kind mids lid because I have like a super big head, so like spaced out the mold for me, and like we can fit a S1 Mega Lifer helmet in there, and it's like the only one out there that can fit a S1 Mega Lifer, and it was like they don't make helmets anymore. Like I'm not getting another one of these. So I was like, not only did I not have my board like a couple days before race day, like didn't have my helmet, and like I could piece together another board, like couldn't find another helmet. I was like stressing, and I don't remember who gave it to the park ranger, but based on Joel's question, I have a feeling it was probably Joel.
I don't think he did.
Okay.
Yeah. He was talking to me about it, but dude.
Yeah, that was stressful. Like my girlfriend at the time was like teasing me. She's like, "Oh, dude, you lost your skateboard and you're crying." I don't think I was actually crying, but I was like very stressed and like pretty like.
I'd be crying. It's not like you bring 2 setups.
No.
You're
Yeah.
like, this is my only setup.
Yeah. Also nothing wrong with crying.
Yeah.
You know?
Dude,
Sometimes you gotta have a good cry.
you got to feel your emotions.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, that's what happened with that. But got it back, made it for race day, and then crashed myself out in first, the heat before quarters.
Oh, well, hey, count it.
Yeah, was pretty bummed, but
Jeez, man. Good old Colorado.
yeah, Devil's Peak is like probably the best event I've ever been to.
Bring back Devils.
Yeah, absolutely.
I went there one year. It was awesome, man. I really enjoyed that. I struggle skating at elevation, though. Like, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't feel it till, like, I go through the finish line. Like, I got asthma.
Yeah.
And, like, I'll go through and I'm, like wheezing.
You like stand up out of your tuck and you like start getting like spots and you're like,
Yeah. I, like, certainly struggle with that. Like, guess I wasn't in town long enough to get acclimated.
Yeah.
But it does make a difference. Like, geez.
oh yeah. I always remember hearing a story about like Jacko flying in for Pikes Peak and like flying in from like sea level in Australia, and, like getting to the Denver airport, like driving up Pikes Peak and like getting out of the car and like so excited to like be there, and he like runs around and then like I don't remember what the story is, but he either like passes out instantly or just like throws up or something like that. Like elevation's no joke.
It's no joke, dude.
Yeah.
Especially, I'm like, man, if you're skating at elevation all the time, and then you go to a race that's not at elevation, which is like every race, like you're like a superhero. Like,
Superpowers.
you have to have superpowers.
Yeah.
Like-
I have friends who are like, oh, I can't get drunk at sea level because like it also affects like how fast you get drunk. And
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely was drinking at Devil's Peak, and
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I just felt terrible the whole time, honestly, but I had a great time.
Yeah.
So
When in Colorado.
trade-offs.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, we were kind of skating the other week. Had like a close call, kind of happens.
Yeah.
I guess, you didn't, but someone with us did.
Yep.
I wanted to talk about close calls and, what's your relationship with the void these days?
Like, yeah, close calls, like, is kind of what we were talking about. They're like, there's so many times where you're just like inches from a car, or like you come into a corner as a car is coming out of it, so you have enough time to slide. But there's so many times where like after the run, you're like, holy shit, that was like really close. And then you like think about it, you're like, if I wouldn't have like dropped my glove and I would have like put it on instead of dropping it and then kicked in, like I would have been in that corner like 2 seconds earlier, right when that car was like blowing lane in that corner. Like there's so many close calls that we get out of for no reason. It's not like we're like sometimes it's like there's a car in the corner, or like you hit a rock or something and then you're like good enough at skateboarding to avoid it. But there's so many times where it's just like pure dumb luck.
Dude, it's a lot.
Yeah. And it's like
I find myself like things will happen and you just kind of like memory dump it. Like you're like the next day you're like, well, it didn't happen.
yeah.
That's fine.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like I'm this one time going in the bottom left on Tuna, there's a car like parked on the side of the road, like backing out across the road, like, and like I managed to just like bang the line and like hit the inside and like missed his bumper by like 3 feet. But like if I would have been like a couple seconds, like even 2 seconds later, like he would have been fully blocking the road and I would have been going too fast to stop. And it's like shit like that, like happens all the time.
It happens all the time. Like I try and tell myself like I gotta turn down, I've been trying to skate like elk slower and stuff, but then you have the intrusive thoughts.
Oh yeah.
You're like,
I mean, it was just like the same thing, like, oh, like we're gonna take a chill run, and then like
it's never chill.
yeah, and then like you're like, buddy, like you're like, oh, we're not gonna tuck, and then like someone starts tucking, you're like, well, if he's tucking, I'm tucking, and then you start tucking, and then by the end of the run, you're racing each other on an open road.
Yep.
Like,
And the person in the back's behind you, and you're like, well, I want to keep up with that person. I don't want to get in their way. And then you're just like chain reaction, just like mocking.
yeah,
It's beautiful, but it's, the realities are, downhill's kind of just a string of close calls
Yes.
when it comes to open road skating.
Yeah, and like open road skating especially, but like even closed road skating, you know, like there's so many close calls that like, and like so many people's like checks who never really get cashed that like 100% should. And like not like should, but like it's very uncanny that they haven't.
Yeah, just, wanted to run that across you.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, just thinking about the ones I've had, like, everybody's had that thing where, like, that, like, multiple times it's like, I should have hit that car, or, like, I should have flown off that cliff, but, like, just dumb luck that I didn't.
Yeah. Yeah. Be safe out there, folks.
Yeah. now, wear a high vis vest while you skate.
Yeah, high visibility, that's great. I mean, you're doing as much as you can. So, I got a couple other random tidbits.
Yep.
What is one piece of gear that you have to have when you go skate that isn't your board or like gloves or anything? Something you have to have.
These days, a wrist brace.
Ah.
Yeah.
I've been noticing the wrist brace.
Yeah. Can't skate without it, unfortunately. Been like trying to do my PT and stuff. Wrist brace is one. I try not to go skate without my spine protector. I try to always wear, if I'm skating open roads, I try to always wear a safety vest.
Good call. I've noticed the spine protector. I need to start wearing mine again.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm too sweaty.
Yeah, I have to get a new one. Mine's like really old and like doesn't fit super well anymore. But like injuring your spine can be worse than injuring your head. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I had another hot take. Garrett Gorley wanted me to ask you, what's been your best U-Haul experience and what's been your worst U-Haul experience, like all time?
One of the best is, it's not a U-Haul, but at K&K they have like coach buses with like air conditioning.
Now we talking.
Yeah, and like everyone gets their own seat, and there's like things underneath the bus to put your boards, and like little like cages on the top to put your boards on. You get on, the bus is air conditioned, like the sun's shining, so you like pull a little curtain, and it drives up the hill. That's like premium.
Sign me up. I'm going to K&K.
Yeah, yeah. And then like other like U-Haul experiences, like
yeah. What's the worst?
Dude, Maryhill. Like I remember at Maryhill one year, like we're all just like packed so deep in U-Hauls, and it's like so hot. And there's 3 U-Hauls. There's a 4th U-Haul sitting over there that we can see. And like people aren't fitting in the U-Hauls. Like people are skitching and like barely making it up. And there's a 4th U-Haul, and we're like, Dino, like we need the 4th U-Haul. And he's like, nah, I don't want to put gas in it.
Like, come
And
on,
we're like,
dude.
come on. And like, so like Maryhill has some pretty bad U-Hauls.
God, that fall free ride must be brutal.
Yeah, it's hot. It's like really hot in there. Yeah, the open top trucks that they have at Tepe, those are really nice.
I've only experienced open top trucks a few times, and I'm like, why are we not doing this?
Great question.
Like,
Yeah.
there's got to be. We're always in these like rural areas. Like, there's got to be like Farmer Bob down the road that has like a big truck that's open, like a hay truck.
Same person you're getting your hay from probably
Yeah.
got a hay truck. I don't know.
How much to rent this bad boy?
Yeah, absolutely. Just drop it off with the hay. I'll return it with the hay in a week.
Yeah. I was also, I think I was talking to Cactus, like, we need to develop some sort of device that, like, hooks to the roof of the U-Haul that, like, catches air and just, like, pushes it in or something like that.
Yeah. Someone was saying at the last Maryhill they had something like that.
Like, it's, yeah, I can't be the only ones thinking of that.
No, like it takes the wind, pushes it in, like fresh air. Like, because those U-Hauls get so, like, hot and sweaty and stale.
It'd be all the difference. It would make such a big difference.
Yeah, and like when you're at the back, you like can't see the roads. You're just like in the dark U-Haul, and like I get nauseous when I'm in the back of the U-Haul.
The downside of events.
Yeah,
right there.
Yeah.
You kind of touched on it a little earlier about this solo backpacking trip. Kind of wanted to see what that was about.
Last summer I did 14 days in the Sierras.
Okay.
Yeah, on the John Muir Trail. Goes from Yosemite to Mount Whitney. It's like 230 miles, I think. Yeah. Ryan Boniface, I think that's his name. I don't know how you say his last name. He just hiked the AT. So that's
really,
yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. Definitely not the only. I know Dave Billisbach in Santa Barbara. Again, I don't know how to say his last name. He's like super into backpacking. There's like a bunch of skaters who I think are like pretty into wilderness backpacking. It's definitely like a type 2 fun. It's like not fun while you're doing it, and then like afterwards you're like, that was pretty cool. But while you're doing it, you're like, I'm just walking north. This sucks.
Did you have a trail name?
No. I was only 2 weeks, I wasn't like on there like long enough.
Did you like meet people though at all out there that had like trail names? Like they're like, oh, I'm Rhode Island Red.
Yeah.
Like I went hiking before and I was like, I'm Rhode Island Red.
Yeah, I met this dude. He called himself Zip Tie, and you can like tell like the JMT hikers. So JMT shares like most of the trail with the Pacific Crest Trail, which like those people are like through hikers. Like they're on the trail for like 5 months and like hiking from Canada to Mexico kind of thing. But like, so like sometimes the JMT hikers are like intermingling with them. And I met one JMT hiker who like fully just gave himself his own trail name because he like wanted one. Zip Tie. But I met 3 people hiking the PCT that were like super memorable. Seabiscuit, Seaweed, and JJ Bean. And I'm like actually now like real friends with one of them, and we like hang out sometimes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and like they're super cool and like actually a special person to me. I don't know.
It's pretty epic. Yeah, definitely type 2 fun. I hiked for 6 days once, and like, dude, I was wrecked.
Yeah, it's like
why did I do that?
Yeah, it's like I probably should have just gone to Braffs instead. But
it's cool though. It's a good experience. I'm sure you saw some cool views, and maybe get in touch with yourself too. You're out there just like by yourself.
Yeah, it was super cool. Like really glad I did it. Really glad to have done it, and like have some plans for like future backpacking trips. But I think I came out of that and was like, skateboarding's definitely got the focus. Like, so kind of like in the past couple years, kind of like not lost skateboarding, but like haven't been skating as much. So I was like trying to like fill it with other hobbies or like other stuff like that. And so like went like on a big backpacking trip and like came out and was like, not like skateboarding is still what I'm trying to be doing most of the time.
Kind of had that epiphany. I got into cycling pretty hard there.
Yeah, you hate to see it.
Like, I mean, I'm back.
He's back, baby.
I'm back, but I saw you were mountain biking for a little while there.
I was. Yeah. Like, Bay Area, maybe a hot take, doesn't have very good downhill skateboarding. Has really good mountain biking. Like, in Santa Cruz, there's like some mountain biking trails that like, you'd be on there and like people would be like, oh yeah, I'm like out from Kansas, like on my annual like trip to Santa Cruz for the mountain biking. Like there's like world-class stuff out there. So it's kind of like, well, I could do like some like mid-tier skateboarding, I could do some like really good mountain biking. And like Ben, Chubbs, like Pat Shep, Pete Laugh, like a bunch of my friends over there were all into mountain biking. And so I like, all right, like I want to hang out with my friends and I'd prefer we go skate, but my friends are all going mountain biking, so I'd rather hang out with them than go skate alone. So I got a mountain bike, did that for a little bit, broke my wrist, got wrist surgery, sold my bike.
That's how the wrist injury happened.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was going to get to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Went over the handlebars on my bike, like landed on my wrist like that. And like you can see the surgery.
Yep.
Went to the doctor like 2 days later and was like, hey, like my wrist hurts, let's get an x-ray. He like gave me an x-ray. He's like, no broken bones, you're good. And I was talking to Dex, who like has wrist problems because he broke a bone in his wrist and it went undiagnosed. Like it didn't, like I don't know if it didn't show up. I think he got x-rays and it didn't show up, and then all his bones like fused together and now he like can't really bend his wrist. And I was like, all right, well, I'm like super worried about this like one specific break because like it's happened to a bunch of my friends and I know it doesn't show up on x-rays. The doctor was like, nah, like even if it was that, I'd just tell you to like ice it for like 4 weeks and you'll be fine. 4 weeks comes and goes, still hurts, go to a different doctor, get different x-rays, same exact conversation. He's like, no, you're fine. I was like, okay, but like what if it's this break? And he's like, nah, you're fine. just give it a little bit of time. Like 2 or 3 months later, it still hurt. Different doctor, different X-rays. He was like, "No, you're fine." And I was like, "Okay."
Dude, really?
I was like, "Okay, but like, what if it's this like little break?" And he's like, "Nah, like you're good." And I was like, "He's like, just wait a month. If it still hurts in a month." I'm like, "No, dude, I'm like 5 months out from injury at this point. Like, nah." And he's like, "All right, we'll get you an MRI." MRI comes back. He's like, "Yeah, we need to get you surgery as soon as possible." I was like, "Yeah, fucking course you do, dude." So got surgery March 1st. Injury happened like September 1st. Like, it was awful.
March 1st of this year, correct? You got
March 1st, 2023.
Okay.
Injury happened September 1st, 2022.
Jeez, man.
Yeah.
So you were off the board for a little bit.
Off the board for a while. Like, I basically didn't skate. I don't think I actually skated a hill before I went to Europe.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Like,
Welcome back.
off the couch, Europe. I think the third mountain pass we skated, I wobbled out at like 50 miles an hour. Yeah. It was sick.
I love doing this.
Yeah.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, I was on like a whole new board too, and like everything. Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, you're on the ZM1s, right?
No, I wasn't there because I was too scared.
Ah.
And then I like wobbled out my gold rogues, and I was like, I'm way too scared now to ever ride the ZM1s. But then I put them on like a month into Europe, and have been liking them, I think.
They seem pretty rad. I've noticed you're riding the double blues up front.
Yeah, Frenchie and Owen set my trucks up for me, like, because these aren't just like plug and play out of the box like they tell you they are. Because like I like rode mine, I was like, these feel like shit, and then like rode Owen's setup, and I was like, you're riding different trucks than me.
Mm-hmm.
Or I rode Frenchie setup, and I was like, you're riding like different trucks, like what the hell? And then like they like spent a bunch of time like tweaking my shit.
I rode Jack setup. Felt so good, but I was like, there's so much response in the front truck. I was getting like front truck wobble
Yeah, I believe
a
that.
little bit.
I don't know.
Figured
if I
it out though.
trust
But
that Jack setup though.
yeah, I wouldn't recommend riding Jack setup.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, but
could be that.
yeah, no, they're good. I like them. They're like really good trucks for a lot of things.
Absolutely. So, I mean, what are you up to these days? You're living up in
Living in Oakland.
Oakland?
Yep. Me, Ben Snyder, Sean Wilkinson, and Pat Shep.
Oh,
Yeah,
hell yeah.
it's a good get.
Yeah. I got to get Pat Shep on here.
Dude.
Like, I think he might have been the first person to skate Paradise for all I know.
think Surf Spot is his spot.
Like, yeah, I would like to ask him a few questions.
Yeah, I think he's coming to North Carolina in the next couple months.
Really?
Yeah, I think he has tickets booked.
Cool.
Yeah, you should talk to him.
Definitely.
But yeah, it's a good house. I really like living in Oakland. Like, really good community there. Just like not the best hills, and like Sean will always tell me I'm wrong, but there's like,
What are you hitting out there?
Montevina was one of the big ones, but that just got like repaved with like bad pavement. And like that was fun for like 3 or 4 runs. There's Claremont, which is like one of the Blue Suit Bomber hills, which has like 4 sick corners, but it's like over pretty fast. There's the other road, Mount Ham, which is like awful. It's like an hour and a half to get to, and it's just like so long, and you're like trying so hard to go like 40 miles an hour and just grip corners. But
Are you by Big Vine? Is that
that's Montevina.
That's Montevina?
Yeah, that's the actual road name.
Oh, okay.
Montevina, Big Vine.
That's the same road. Okay.
Yeah. But like if you go into San Francisco with like a double kick and soft wheels and like go skate like driveways, that's like some of the best skating we have. But it's just like not the same as like skating canyons.
Gotcha.
But like in San Francisco, there's like bus runs, like skate down the hill. Like there's so many different ways. You just like pick a turn, take that one, and like pick a different turn, and like eventually you get to the bottom, and like outside like the donut shop, the bus picks you up. You don't pay for the bus, and then it takes you right back to the top, and you like kick in and do it again.
That's a cool vibe though.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
really sick.
Definitely change it up a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm loving this hot take.
Yeah. If you're ever in the Bay Area and you want to skate, hit up Base Sessions 2. Shout out Base Sessions 2.
Shout out.
Yeah. They'll get you sorted. We got a Discord with like a bunch of like different channels talking about skateboarding and stuff. It's pretty cool. It's like the Bay Area scene's like alive and well.
It looks like it. You know, y'all got different kind of terrain.
Yeah, absolutely
Going on. So I like the vibes.
Yeah, because there's a lot of hills where like people who are really good and people who are just kind of learning to slide can skate at the same time and both have fun in their own way, which I think is like really important, which a lot of scenes don't have.
Yeah. Learning curve here is pretty rough,
Yeah.
but if you stick with it,
Yeah.
it seems like people get really good in like 1 year.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, I got some more questions. I ask everyone these towards the end. I think we might be getting there, getting close here. Wanted to start off and ask you, round lip or square lip wheels?
Square lip, unfortunately.
10-4.
I wish I was saying round lip, but I have to say square lip, but I wish I was saying round lip.
What's your favorite kind of pavement?
California Classic. The old Decker pavement, not the new Decker pavement, the old Decker pavement, like the Mulholland pavement, is the best there is.
That good slidey feeling.
It's like gray, it's like smooth, it's all uniform. Oh, it's so good. And like I don't like geek out of like about like I don't like fan person over like pro skateboarders, you know what I mean? Like not anymore. I did when I was a Grom. But like I like fangirl about people who have skated old pavement tuna. Like Steve Kong skated old pavement tuna. Whoa. Yeah.
Legendary.
Yeah. There's someone else I learned recently and like my mind was blown.
I only experienced a slurry seal and I was like, this shit is so weird.
Yeah, it's weird. It's cool. I like it.
You get used to it.
Yeah.
But
if you go on Google Maps, you can go on Street View and then you can like, it's like this photo was taken in like 2023 and you can like go, there's like a little tab where you can like go and look at like past photos.
Go back in time, dude.
Yeah, you can go. I think they have photos of Tuna Canyon from 2008 on Street View and go look at that. And like you can see that's like when it was like before it got repaved and like you can see it had 2 lanes, but it was still only downhill at the time because like the Summit Road has fallen off. You could see where there was like 2 lanes. The road was like wider in all these places. Go on Google Street View and look at Tuna Canyon road view in 2008.
I'm gonna check that out, dude.
Yeah, I spent some time just looking, wishing.
In your opinion, who's got the best style, men and women?
Best style. So I really like people's style that like doesn't look like too robotic. There's like, or like not even robotic, but like too like perfect and clean. Like there's some people who like when I'm not gonna name names, but like when they do a slide, it's like perfect form, like textbook, and it's like of course they're gonna do like the biggest switch toe side and just like nail it perfectly. And there's other people when you watch skate, like I feel like David's really got this, like Chase, like Liam, like all people were like some of like the best like free riders. Like you like watch them skate and you're like, yeah, of course they have this slide, but like they're holding on.
Yeah.
Like that's the good shit to watch.
It might go wrong.
Yeah. It like might go wrong, but it doesn't because they're like super
though.
good at skating. But it's like that's like the enjoyable skating to watch.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. What about women?
Dude, Pross's skate face. I don't know if that's considered style, but like when she's just like fully like in her cannonball tuck and like going for it, dude, her face is just like mean.
Dude.
It's so sick.
Legendary.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like a close-up of her skate face somewhere on the internet, and I'm like, oh my god, you're not winning that heat.
Yeah, like no, like she wants it so bad, and you go, oh, dude, yeah, she's got the best skate face, which I think is a part of style.
That 100% counts.
Yeah.
Kind of along the lines, who do you think's the GOAT, men and women, through all of time?
Through all of time.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's like different categories. You know what I mean? Like GOAT all around skater, like GOAT racer. Like Kevin's like the GOAT racer, obviously.
Good pick. I mean,
yeah. I think honestly, like all around skateboarder, like Camilo is kind of up there. Camilo Cespedes.
Yeah.
Like that dude can skate anything and he looks so good when he skates.
Dude, yeah, he hasn't been brought up on here yet.
Yeah, like
goodness.
He's got a bunch of like I skate with him all the time in LA. He's got like a bunch of really good like tuna runs and like stand-up slides. Like he used to like race a little bit. but then he's also like got like weird little like dancing like freestyle moves that are like so cool.
Dude.
Yeah.
Well-rounded longbow.
Yeah. Camilo's like one of the best like all-around skaters. I think Norm also is, like Byron is for sure.
Norm makes everything look really good.
Yeah.
You're like, that looks super fun.
Yeah.
You're like, you can't do that.
No. No. All right, I know there's definitely people I'm forgetting, but and then I mean on the women's side, like obviously Emily, she's like the most winning racer of all time over top of Kevin. Like
it's hard to she comes up in every episode. It's like, dude, the most legendary maybe of all time we've seen.
Yeah, but I don't think anybody can beat Ashley on the vibes category.
Ashley got the vibes, dude.
Ashley's got the GOAT vibes for sure. Like you pull up to the session with Ashley, you're having the best time.
Dude, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Let's see. If you had to pick an all-star lineup of people to go skating with in your car,
yep,
in the rental or whatever,
yep,
who you taking and where you going?
All right, so I've been thinking a lot about this one. I got 2 answers.
All right.
One answer is just like all of the Mids fam, and we're skating Burke.
Yeah.
And that's like you know who you are. It's like too many people in the name, but we're all there. Maybe we have like a rental pickup truck. The road's closed. We're skating Burke all day. It's like for sure. And then the other answer is me and Caleb Grant, and we drive to the bottom of Topanga Canyon, and we park the car, and we just hitchhike runs. And like hitchhiking tuna runs, like me, that's some of my best memories. Like me and Caleb just hitchhiking tuna runs, and like sometimes you get dropped off at like the Fernwood Market, and you get some wontons, and you like catch a second ride up Fernwood. And sometimes they just go like halfway up, and then you got to skate Fernwood down. And sometimes you get like the whole ride, like hitchhiking runs on tuna is just you can't get that. It's so good.
I love that.
Yeah.
Best road.
Tuna Canyon.
I thought so. Dude, he's showing he's got a tuna. If you're listening.
Got the tuna tattoo, and
tuna
like this line right here is like an outline of the road.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's actually
it's pretty discreet too.
Yeah. Tuna Canyon,
Nice.
best road. Secondary best road is Chain Run in Texas.
Chain Run, not familiar.
Get some Texans on. Talking about Chain Run.
Chain Run, huh? Interesting.
Yep.
Okay. Very cool.
Yeah.
What's your setup right now? I know you're kind of talking ZM1s.
Setup.
But what else? What are you rocking?
Setup is ZM1s. How specific you want to go?
As specific as you want.
Setup.
What's your bearing? What bearings you running?
ZM1s with quad sphericals, blue barrel, blue cone in the front. I don't know my washer setup. I think flat washer. And then in the back, I think I'm pink green. I might be glow green barrels. And then I have one of those like scythe foot stops that like claws over your foot.
Those look badass.
Yeah, I like it. I don't love it, but I think it's like I'm gonna keep rocking it for a little bit. Got a torque block in the back. Got like a little like wedge under your front toe, which I think is pretty important. Mm-hmm. I'm riding a Zenit Bullet, which is like I bought that skateboard. I think it's cool. I don't know. It's like flat and has wheelbase options. There's like some things I would like to change about it, but for the most part, it's a pretty good board. And then wheels, like it's kind of riding whatever. Like a lot of Magnums, but I'm in like North Carolina, so I'm just kind of like whatever wheels are there, I'm skating them.
Right on. Saw you on some Hard in the Paints.
Yeah, Hard in the Paint Magnums, some of the best wheels I've ever ridden. They're so good. But I turned them into triangles very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot of moving mass.
Yeah, I flat spot the shit out of them.
Are you running Velcro under your torque block?
Yeah, Velcro on my torque block.
I gotta do that.
Yeah, like going to Europe, like I mean, just like I was like hanging out with like Owen and Haz and Frenchie and like some like the top racers, like the whole and like Mitch Thompson and like the whole time and just like skating with those people like for that long, like you like really dial in a lot of stuff about your skateboarding, specifically like your gear and stuff. And like all the Europeans, if you watch them skate, like even the free riders, they're 2 feet on both trucks.
Yep.
Like there's like the picture of the finals at K&K stand-up race, and like that I think Max Heaton took, and like their like front foot is on their front truck and their back foot is fully on their torque block directly over their back truck, and like started skating a lot more like that, like lengthened my stance, because I feel like in 2014 kind of era we were all like shortening our stance.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because that one photo of Ed Kiefer at Soldiers, you know what I'm talking about,
dude. Ed had the most front forward stance of all time.
Yeah, and like that was like the cool shit. And so like, but now I mean it's 10 years later, but like I lengthened my stance a little bit in Europe and like definitely felt some positive change because of it, and shortened my wheelbase a bunch. And like I don't think as much anymore. It's like 22-inch wheelbase is the best. I think it's like whatever wheelbase fits under your stance.
I want to get on that.
Yeah.
So I was talking to you about that, and I've been, taking notice to like people's feet, and I'm like, man, if you're like free riding too, you really want your feet over your wheels.
You even look at like Norm free riding, like doing squatters, like on a big like longboard, like his back foot's like on his back truck, and he can like feather it super good.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said to getting traction to all 4 wheels too when you're sliding. Like,
yeah, like
being super front foot heavy's good, but you gotta make use of those back wheels.
Yeah, absolutely,
big time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Like I remember, like back in the day, like Ed would get to the bottom of a run, and his back wheels would have full skin, and his front wheels would be fully broken in.
Yeah,
I was like, yeah, you gotta use all 4 of them.
Gotta use all 4, man. Yeah, no kidding. I heard you might have like some possums or something living in your house.
Oh yeah, things in the wall. We don't know for sure that they're possums. So we caught. So like there's ever since I moved in February 2022, there's been things in the wall, and they're only on half the house. They're on me and Sean's half the house. But you like lay in your bed at night, and just hear some things like bumping around, some scurrying. Like there's like an attic, and there's like a bunch of boards, and sometimes you hear like the boards clanking around and stuff.
Huh. You took a peek up there yet?
Oh yeah, and then like one point there's a bunch of shredded papers up there. Like we put regular paper, and then it turned into shredded paper.
It's probably fine, right?
Someone's building a nest. But then we like talked to our landlord, and like they like put a trap up there, and they caught like 3 possums in a pretty short time span. But like I mean I haven't been home for a minute now, but there's always going to be things living in the walls at Stretch House. Yeah. But it's helps keep our rent cheap,
What's the Stretch House vibes? You got things in the walls. What else you got going on there?
Things in the walls. We got no light in our living room. It's that there's like lights, but like no natural light. I don't know. There's a Whole Foods across the street that opened up that is dumb and good for stealing from. Yeah, I don't know. Stretch House vibes are good, I think. I mean, haven't been there in a while, but
are you going back? Like, what's your?
Yeah, I'm going back end of October.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go to Soldiers, and then I'm gonna go to Braffs, and then I'm gonna go to LA, and then I'm gonna go back.
You going back to work? Is that the plan, or
at some point I have to? Yeah.
Because you said you're in like film type.
Yeah,
stuff,
I'm in the film industry, and there's a big writer strike that was going on.
Yeah,
which like prevented a lot of work, but that just ended. But the screen actors are still on strike, but I imagine that will like wrap up shortly.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm sure that's been affecting you.
Yeah, for sure. Which like it's been fine. Like take that time to go skate in Europe. So,
yeah.
But I'll be back to Europe next year. Probably come back to North Carolina next year.
Better come back. Hopefully, we'll have a few more events. Make it worth worth the trip.
Mount Jefferson's coming back. That's not true, but I wish it was.
Dude, I wish it would too.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll get another event or two. We really need like a full month of events. I think
Yeah.
We all gotta team up and get some things written down and make it happen because
we've
got enough roads to make it happen.
When's the last time Brixton happened?
Good call. No, I think there was one like maybe 2 months ago
Okay.
or so.
Yeah.
They're still having them
Okay. Nice.
up in Boone.
Yeah.
As far as Asheville, we did like Will did like a grapevine
Heard about that.
outlaw. God, that was probably April,
Yeah.
maybe. But yeah, there's been Brixtons going on in
Yeah.
Boone still.
Nice.
They're building on that road. Like there's
Oh, no
there's
way.
actually like the first left. There's a house that's probably fully built now.
No way.
So yeah, you'd be interested to see it. There's some cracks in that road now.
I believe
too.
it. I believe it.
Like it has some water drainage issues.
Yep. As most good roads do.
So it's gotten weathered up, but
Yeah.
we'll get back on that for sure. I just wanted to see if you got any closing remarks or any thank yous or shout outs you wanted to put out there.
I don't know. Like, shout out all my friends. Like, y'all are the reason why I keep doing this. You know, like, you know who you are. Got no sponsors to shout out. Pretty okay with that. Closing remark. Talk about sponsorship. If someone's sending you like one free board a year, that's not a sponsorship. Like, they're taking advantage of you. Like, you're like, their company, they're profiting, like they're using you to profit, which is like fine as long as it's like an equal exchange. But if they're just sending you like a couple boards a year or something, like that's basically nothing for them. And like, you're risking your life. Like, you're going to be risking your life skateboarding anyways, but like, you're risking your life so someone else can profit off you. Like, I don't know, just think about it. Like, think about the exchange. Like, if it's equal, like what you're putting in versus like what you're getting. Like, a free skateboard or two a year, like, isn't that much. Like, make sure
you're probably getting a blem too.
Yeah, like, you're getting a blem. Like, get paid. Like, the money, like there's money in this shit. Like, or else people wouldn't be having companies like profiting. And there's not like a lot of money. You know, you're not going to be like buying cars and stuff unless you got TikTok money. But like, if you're getting like industry sponsors, like, get paid for sure.
10-4 on that. I think, what did Garrett say in his interview? He said, car sponsorship or nothing. Like, get a car sponsorship.
Yeah.
Like, focus on that's what you need.
Yeah, make sure whatever your sponsorship is, make sure it's worth risking your life over.
Yeah, ride what you want. Ride what you want to ride. Like, it's board a year. Dude, I'm with you.
Nah, I'm good. And like, yeah, it's gonna be some blem noodly ass board.
Yeah. Well, Austin, I appreciate the words today.
Yeah.
We went through a lot of stuff. It was quite a journey.
Yeah.
Thanks again for showing up, and for y'all listening out there, thanks for listening. This is 35 All Grip. Woo!
Sandwich.